I have something here for you. Your father wanted you to have this when you were old enough, but your uncle wouldn't allow it. He feared you might follow old Obi-Wan on some damn fool idealistic crusade like your father did.
Sir, if you'll not be needing me, I'll close down for a while.
Sure, go ahead. What is it?
It's your father's lightsaber. This is the weapon of a Jedi Knight. Not as clumsy or random as a blaster. An elegant weapon for a more civilized age. For over 1,000 generations, the Jedi Knights were the guardians of peace and justice in the Old Republic. Before the Dark Times. Before the Empire.
Hey nerds, don't go anywhere, because today we're going to be checking out here in the Fellowship of the Nerds the very first thing that pretty much started it all in Star Wars. We're going to be checking out Anakin / Luke Skywalker's lightsaber from A New Hope, the Graflex, the OG. We're going to be doing this today in a very, very cool unboxing from Korban. So stick around because you're not going to want to miss this.
May the Force be with you, Padawan.
Hey nerds, welcome back to the Fellowship of the Nerds. I am your host, as always, Luke Skywalker, and today we're going to be checking out one that is really, really cool. As I said at the beginning, this is Korban's Graflex from A New Hope. This is Anakin / Luke. I mean, really depends how you look at it, because Obi-Wan does tell Luke that this was his father's lightsaber, which is true. And this one is very special. Obviously, being from Korban, it's always very special. But this one is a really, really cool one. This is 89 Sabers version. And you probably wouldn't know this by now, but if you might, there are two versions of 89 Saber. One's with the crystal chamber, one without. This is the one without, just because I wanted to keep it as true to the original, because realistically speaking, like, and A New Hope, that I don't think we didn't know anything about kyber crystals or anything like that. So I was trying to keep it as close to the original as possible. Let's unbox this, because this one is going to be amazing. Okay, and Korban's amazing. I love these boxes. I love the. I mean, I love the Korban boxes that have the signs and stuff. But these, you know, just seeing the golden letters and everything, it just feels so regal, so nice. Inside this box, we're going to find 89 Sabers instructions. This didn't come with this, but obviously we put it in here. This is the plaque that we've gotten from Nerd Loot for episode 4 Luke. We got our blade plug. We got our battery charger, and we got our amazing and lovely hilt, which is absolutely phenomenal, and we're about to check out. And here it is. Look at this. Look at this amazing beauty of a lightsaber. Let me bring it up close for you to see, but look at this. Look at this thing. It's really, really something. I cannot tell you how cool this is. You can see here, it says Graflex. And see, find here the bubbles and everything. So just to give you a little bit of lore, of course, you probably know this, and I'm probably nerd-splaining to bunch of fellow nerds, but obviously this is a flash from a Graflex camera. There's the reason why it says here Graflex, the reason why it's a tube, and this is just essentially disassemble and then, you know, some bits and pieces reattach here and there to give it the, you know, alien look, if you will. And it just became iconic for Star Wars. Of course, over time there were changes, like for example this on episode 5 wasn't bubbles anymore. It was like something that looks like a chip, and you will see it once we get to episode 5, because if you haven't picked up by now, this is starting a collection of Graflex, the same way that we just seen the collection from Darth Vader's lightsaber. This is going to kickstart a collection of Luke. You've already seen it on the unboxing that we had, the plaque from Nerd Loot. We already put it there because it's going to complete our collection on our Skywalker wall, if you will. And this one it's pretty amazing. So it was functional, if you will. It was very practical because it was Graflex. So like originally this said Graflex, and some people think that, you know, if you have this, it kind of takes away the illusion that, you know, this is from Star Wars. This is supposed to be a fantasy, if you will. But I think that this just, you know, this is screen accuracy. So this is absolutely amazing. You can find lightsabers out there that are this one that don't say Graflex from other makers, but this being 89 Sabers prides itself in being very true to screen or as close to screen as possible. And of course, this is from Corbin's, and I think that the obvious way of, you know, if we're going to go OG and we're going to go with the first lightsaber that we ever saw, which is this one, what better way than to do it with a company that's pretty much one of the first sellers of lightsabers that was out there as Corbin. Now, of course, Corbin, as we know, prides itself also in having some of the most accurate lightsabers out there as possible. So it's a match made in heaven, if you will. Now, this one is very peculiar because usually to access your core, you just unscrew and usually that's about it. That's not exactly the case in here. I'm pretty sure there'll be models of this lightsaber out there that will be like that you just have to unscrew, but this one is very peculiar. So this one, you have to release this clamp here, and then you're going to see that there's two, you know, like little dents there. So that's where the grooves of the pommel goes. And what I mean by that is, like, you will see this, right? So when you're putting this back together, you essentially want to like put it back there, and then you want to twist. So you see these two like this, and then you're gonna close, and boom, that's it, close. It's just very, very, very cool, very practical. Now this comes in the usual 89 Sabers. Well, I wouldn't say usual, but like for these, there are, for some odd reason, Darth Vader and these, they will have this casing. So we'll just unscrew this. Record so we can access and turn it on.
I want to learn the ways of the Force and become a Jedi like my father.
And he will. We're going to align our black pen to our black pen. Sometimes I kind of hate the fact that it's so responsive, but you know, it's the price you pay for accuracy. We realign our grooves here. I was saying earlier, we put everything so it's attached to the side, and boom, there you go, a fully activated Graflex lightsaber. This thing is phenomenal. Before we take it outside, just want to give you some notions of when you turn it on. And before we even turn it on, just to show you that this is your ignition button, this is your aux. You have your bunny ears, which are fully functional because you're going to want to open this to be able to let your blade and or your blade plug through. And you have your glass eye, which allows light on. And what I mean by that is, you'll see there. Okay? Of course, you see the blade. It's really a beauty. This lightsaber is absolutely amazing. Let's quickly take it outside so I can show you a little bit of the sound phones. This is installed with sound phones from Kyberphonic. I'm going to walk you through 3 of them, which are very, like, they each have their moment, if you will, in the movie, and they're tied to portions of the movie. We'll bring it back inside. We'll do the usual recap of those sound phones here in the light with the blade on. I'll walk you through the other sound phones that the Saber has, and as always, we'll do the pros and cons. Now, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. You know, you can click the little bell, the whole shenanigans that everybody says on these things, so you can get that out of the way so you don't miss the rest of this collection. And later on, after we do all the pros and cons and everything, we're going to talk about how you can get this with a great discount, so stick around for that.
Father's lightsaber. This is the weapon of a Jedi Knight. I suggest you try it again, Luke. This time, let go your conscious self and act on instinct. I felt a great disturbance in the force, as if millions of voices suddenly cried out in terror and were suddenly silenced. I fear something terrible has happened. But it cannot be the regular presence. I call it luck. In my experience, there's no such thing as luck.
Okay, this thing is absolutely impressive. You have to give me that. Now, a few things about this before we carry on. Besides of having sound fonts from Kyberphonic, this lightsaber has been fine-tuned, if you will, by our friends at SaberSense. SaberSense is now one of the standards for Profi, so their type of configuration is now going to become one of the standards that you can get out of the Profi like official types of configuration. And what I mean by that is something as simple as this. Whenever you get an 89 Sabers, usually the way that this works is besides of the aux, you will the main button will activate on one push and will deactivate on another single push, where SaberSense configuration you have to long press it to turn it off. In exchange of that, whenever you want to activate the force effects on 89 Sabers, you long press the main and that activate the trigger of the force. While if you were using a SaberSense configured Profi, you have to double press when the blade is on, and that will automatically release the force. I think it's handy. So you know, it has that. Also, the lockup, for example, lights up on the entire blade, and that is something that again is typical of SaberSense. And I think it's very cool that this is now official standard for Profi. So absolutely amazing. Let's turn this on and be blown away by it. This guy is the stuff that dreams are made of. This is essentially, I'm from the 80s, and yeah, I think we all grew up dreaming of lightsabers, so this is definitely something that we all dreamt of. This is absolutely cool. Look at that. Look at that. It's absolutely cool.
Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope.
Come on, guys. Tell me that's not cool.
I'm Luke Skywalker. I'm here to rescue you.
Now, of course, if you want to activate your music, because these do come with music, come on, tell me this isn't cool. You can easily hear the smooth swing, very smooth. And if you also can double press it to turn on and mute like that, that's absolutely cool. Few things about this. Like I said, this is Kyberphonics sound font. So we have this one, which is the main one. I'm just gonna cycle back.
Power.
What is it?
Father's lightsaber. This is the weapon of a Jedi Knight.
Which is the one that one of the three ones that we heard outside. Then we have.
I suggest you try it again, Luke. This time, let go your conscious self and act on instinct.
The training. I think this is fantastic. Lockup is the same. because obviously why would it change? But the blaster deflect things, I think it's pretty cool.
Kid, I've flown from one side of this galaxy to the other. I've seen a lot of strange stuff, but I've never seen anything to make me believe there's one all-powerful force controlling everything. There's no mystical energy field controls my destiny.
Come on, guys, tell me this is not cool. I'm not entirely sure if the music would be the same. Let's check it. Oh, look at that. You have to give me that this is amazing. We're gonna stop it there because what I get copyright by YouTube. That's the Millennium Falcon, which I think sounds fantastic.
Look, good against remotes is one thing. Good against the living, that's something else.
I think this is a great sample in the sense of the same way that you get one specific training, then this one is essentially trying to like get you into the moment of like, you know, them on the Millennium Falcon. So it's absolutely cool. We go on to our other set of sound fonts.
I'm not afraid.
This is from Empire Strikes Back, which we'll get to that when we do the graphic from Empire Strikes Back.
It's over, Anakin! I have the high ground!
I think we all know that who that is. This is Vader from Episode 5.
Hello, Master. It's been a while.
This is Ahsoka, and this is even though this is with the sounds from the last season of Clone Wars, it is with the color of fulcrum with the white. So there's that. Yoda, Revan,
Master Qui-Gon.
Self-explanatory there. That's one of those. Yeah, this is one of those funny ones. Pretty cool. I'll admit.
It is obvious that this contest cannot be decided by our knowledge of the Force, but by our skills with a lightsaber.
Always love Count Dooku, and if you missed the review of Count Dooku's and the comparison, be sure to check that out. That'll be on your screen on one corner. I think over here probably.
Count Dooku.
More Count Dooku.
Count Dooku.
And more Count Dooku.
Most impressive.
This is.
You have grown stronger. Your failure is inevitable.
That's Archive Assault from Jedi Survivor.
Rise.
We also all know that voice.
Ben Solo.
Ben.
Kylo
Ren Force Awakens.
I claim this sword, and my rightful place as leader of Death Watch.
Darksaber from Maul. Transformers. One that would never cease to crack me up.
You want me to put the hammer down?
Thor. Lighter.
Power.
And that's all of us. And we'll go back to this.
Father's
All
lightsaber.
around. An amazing,
This is the weapon of a Jedi Knight.
an amazing lightsaber, amazing piece of work, in my opinion, from Indiana Sabers and Corband. Now, pros and cons on this lightsaber. It's not a con because, I mean, it is how it's supposed to be, but like the control box, I always find that the control boxes on these sabers that have control boxes can be a little bit, you know, like get in your hand and could actually can like cut you and give you little bruises. However, if you hold your saber like with the control box facing away from your palm, not an absolute issue whatsoever. So, you know, there's that. Pros, I do find a pro the way that this opens and closes. I'm pretty sure there'll be some that will find that a con. I think this is a pro because it really is it's a smooth thing. And the encasing that it has is absolutely brilliant. The fact that it has a kill switch, unlike the last I don't want to say last Skywalker that we saw, but the last Grafleck-ish that we saw, which was episode 6, Darth Vader, had the thing that didn't have a kill switch. This one does, so I think that's cool. Down or con, depending on how you look at it. As I was saying at the beginning, there are a couple variations of 89 sabers. There's one with the crystal and there's one without. This is the one without, just because I wanted to keep it as close as what the original would have been. Although, of course, we know that lightsabers are supposed to have a crystal chamber, and there is a version out there that has crystal chamber reveal. So, you know, there is that. Obviously, this one is more budget friendly, so there's also that as well. Speaking of budget friendly, that is a good segue for me to tell you that if you want to get this lightsaber, you can definitely check out the link that will be on the description, and you can get the discount code there. So if you use the discount code that you're seeing on screen now, Fellowship, you'll get 15% off of this lightsaber, which I think is fantastic. So go and use that, and of course, by doing so, you are also supporting the channel, so thank you very much for that, guys. I really appreciate it. I love that you guys can get this lightsaber for a bit better price for you guys, and also you can get the quality that this lightsaber has from Corbin, so do check that out. Pros. The fact that pros and cons, the bunny ears. There are some people that hate it. I don't mind it, but I think that it really, once you get it in, it really helps to set your blade there. So I think that's a pro. The con is that you have to, like, you know, hold it open and then hold it. It's a bit awkward for a bit, but it's really nothing to it. It's a bit more complicated to get the blade plug out. So, because, you know, you basically have to open and just make it go out, and then you're going to have to pick it up. But don't worry, it's not going to break or anything, but there you go. Something to have in mind about this lightsaber is the fact that if you get one that doesn't have the inscription here, doesn't have Graflex, doesn't mean that you've gotten a bad thing. We've seen when we've seen our episode 5 Darth Vader that it didn't say the microflash thing that I wanted that to say, the, you know, something in Arabic, because it made more sense in universe, but that doesn't diminish or I think it won't take away from the experience. However, if you get in this is exactly pretty much as close as screen accurate as it got, except if you've gotten a master replica. But I mean, why get that when you can get an Sabers Corbin, which is absolutely fantastic in my view. Do have in mind that we'll be back with the rest of the Graflex from Luke and eventually Rey. We won't be checking out episode 6 because that's not a Graflex as such. However, we will do some light comparison, but you will have that review, which we did a few months ago, and that'll be coming up, I'm guessing, around on this side of the screen, so you can check that out as well. But we'll whenever we get to episode 5, we'll do or maybe episode 7, I'm not quite sure, I haven't decided that yet, but we will do a quick comparison just so you can see the differences, because I think they're pretty significant. And of course, once we get to episode 9, which is Rey's lightsaber, we'll be checking out the fix / put back together Graflex, which I think is a very ingenious piece of design. So definitely looking forward to showing you that one, guys. That's been our review, nerds. I hope that you find that useful. I hope that you find that entertaining. And if you did, please be sure to leave a like, leave us a comment for the algorithm, and remember to get the discount so you can get the this lightsaber for a better price, or even better price at Corbin. Nerds, I've been your host, Luke Skywalker. Remember, until the next time that we see each other, the Force will be with you, always. Remember to live long and prosper. May the odds be ever in your favor, Melanin. I'll see you around, nerds.